Welcome to the fourth video in the server-side tutorial series. In this video, we're going to walk through 3 ways you can improve data quality for your server-side container. We'll begin by learning how to extend cookie lifetime for better attribution and remarketing with Stape's Cookie Keeper. Next, we will cover how to recover lost ad-click IDs in Safari and Brave with Stape's Click ID Restorer. And then we'll look at how we can link sessions together for more reliable user tracking with Stape's User ID. This can improve audience lists for remarketing in Google Ads. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Stape for sponsoring this video. As we'll see, Stape includes a range of features you can use to enhance your server-side implementation with Google Tag Manager. I've included a link to Stape in the description below this video. Okay, now it's time to enhance our implementation. Let's head to Stape. I've already logged into Stape, so let's open our container. Let's start by setting up Cookie Keeper to extend cookie lifetime. By default, first-party cookies are subject to browser restrictions. For example, in Safari, cookies are limited to 7 days. But with Cookie Keeper enabled, Stape will extend the cookie lifetime for you. To enable Cookie Keeper, let's select the Power-Ups tab. There are lots of different features we can use to adjust and enhance our server-side implementation. Let's click Use for Cookie Keeper. And let's enable Cookie Keeper. Now we need to choose which platforms we're using on our website, and we can select Extend to extend the cookie lifetime for that particular platform. For this container, let's select Extend for Google Analytics and Google Ads cookies. If you want to extend the lifetime of other cookies, you should select these too. And you also have the option of entering the names of additional custom cookies at the bottom. When you're happy, click Save Changes. I strongly recommend using the Stape custom loader if you're not already using it. This is because it minimizes the impact of ad blockers that can block your tracking tags. Since we're using the Stape custom loader for our setup, we'll need to generate our custom tracking code to apply our changes. To do this, let's click Generate under Code and Setup Information. Now we need to replace our existing custom loader code with this new version. While we're looking at the custom loader, let's talk about the different ways you can install it on your website. If your website is built using WordPress, Shopify, Wix, or one of the other supported website platforms, you can use one of Stape's plugins or apps to add the custom loader to your website. We can see for my setup that Other is selected for the platform. But let's say you're using WordPress. In this case, you can select the drop-down and then select WordPress. Now we can click Generate again. And we're given the details we can use to configure Stape's WordPress plugin to add our web container to our website. We then need to copy our web container ID, our container loading path, and our container identifier. Now we can head to WordPress. I've already logged into WordPress, so let's select Plugins and then Add Plugin. Now let's search for Stape. And let's click Install Now for the Stape Conversion Tracking plugin. And let's click Activate. Now let's click Settings under Stape Conversion Tracking. We can now paste the web container ID, the container loading path, and the container identifier. Then we can enable Cookie Keeper. and click Save Changes. We're now adding Google Tag Manager to WordPress using Stape's custom loader using the plugin. This means Stape will now be automatically refreshing the cookies we've configured and extending their duration. One thing I want to highlight is that if you are already installing Google Tag Manager on your website using another method, you'll want to remove this. For example, if you're using another WordPress plugin to add your container code, remember to remove this. We've now set up Cookie Keeper, which will improve the lifespan of cookies we use for tracking. Next, we're going to set up the Click ID Restorer to recover lost ad click IDs. Let's head to Stape. And let's select the Power-Ups tab. And let's click Use next to Click ID Restorer. And let's enable Click ID Restorer. Click ID Restorer works by capturing click IDs from Google Ads and Microsoft Ads using an extra query parameter. These IDs are then automatically swapped with the ones required for each platform. Normally, when someone clicks on one of your ads from Google Ads, a query parameter of GCLID is automatically added by Google to your URL. But if someone is using private mode in Safari and they click your ad, Safari can automatically strip the GCLID parameter before the page on your website even loads. This means you won't be able to see how they found your website. Click ID Restorer prevents this by using a custom query parameter, and then restoring the default GCLID parameter for tracking. We've already enabled the feature, so now we need to add the custom query parameter we want to use as our backup. I suggest naming your parameter something that won't be recognized. I'm going to enter a random series of characters for the Google Click ID name. I'm not currently using Microsoft Ads, so I'm going to skip this option. But if you are using Microsoft Ads, you'll need to enter another unique name. Now let's click Save Changes. Next, we need to configure Google Ads to send click identifiers using our new query parameter. To do this, let's head to Google Ads. I've already signed into Google Ads, so let's navigate to Admin and select Account Settings. Now we select Tracking, and in the final URL suffix input, we paste our custom Google Click ID name. Then we enter an equal sign and type opening curly brace, GCLID, closing curly brace, all in lowercase, and click Save. Google Ads will now add our custom parameter to the ends of the URLs we use for our ads. Stape will now look after restoring the default GCLID parameter for us automatically. Next, we're going to set up the User ID feature in Stape. This creates an identifier that helps improve our tracking accuracy by recognizing returning visitors when cookies are blocked. To set this up, let's head back to Stape. And let's select the Power-Ups tab. Now let's select Use next to User ID. And let's enable User ID. Enabling this option creates an identifier that helps maintain tracking across sessions, even if cookies are blocked or they've expired. When someone visits your website, Stape looks at 4 non-personal signals: their IP address, user agent string, host name, and TLS settings. It then uses this information to create a unique identifier. This identifier stays the same across sessions, even if cookies are deleted or restricted. The feature is also privacy-friendly. It's not using any personally identifiable information like email addresses or customer IDs. It's just using browser information that's already there. so we can identify returning visitors without collecting personal data. Some browsers, especially Safari, limit how long cookies last. So returning users often get lost because the browser forgets who they are. With User ID enabled, Stape can still recognize them on their next visit because this identifier stays consistent. Okay, we've enabled the feature, so let's click Save Changes. We've now enabled the feature, but we need to complete a few more steps to use it. First, we need to make the Stape-generated user ID available to our server-side container. To do this, let's head to our server-side container in Google Tag Manager. Now let's navigate to Variables. And let's click New to create a new variable. Let's name the variable Stape User ID. Now let's select Variable Configuration. And let's choose Request Header as the variable type. Under Name, we need to enter x-stape -user-id with a capital X, capital S, capital U, and capital I and D. This variable reads the Stape user ID from the request header that the power-up adds to every incoming request, so we can use that ID in our tags. Let's save the variable. The generated user IDs will now be coming through to our server-side container. In order to make use of the Stape user IDs to improve our tracking, we need to pass the IDs it generates to our tags. We're going to walk through the steps to do this for Google Ads, but you can use the same approach for other platforms, including Google Analytics. Let's navigate to Tags. And let's open the Google Ads Remarketing tag. Now let's select Tag Configuration. And let's enable Provide User ID. Now let's select the drop-down and choose Custom Configuration. And under User ID, let's enter 2 opening curly braces. And let's select the Stape User ID variable. Now we can save the tag. You'll need to publish the changes to start sending the Stape user ID to Google Ads. Once you're collecting user IDs, you'll be able to reach more people with your remarketing audiences. This is because you can target people who have cleared their cookies, have cookie restrictions, or are using browser privacy settings. This expands your targeting coverage and gives you more opportunities to re-engage returning visitors across your campaigns. We've now covered 3 features you can use in Stape to improve the quality of data you're collecting. Cookie Keeper extends the life of your cookies. Click ID Restorer captures and preserves click IDs from Google Ads and Microsoft Ads. And User ID lets you recognize the same person across sessions. To get started with Stape, I've included a link in the description below. You'll also find a promo code that's available for a limited time. When you use the code to start a new paid plan, you'll get a special discount. In the next video, we're going to cover more features you can use to extend your Google Tag Manager server-side implementation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.